Welcome to the March 22nd meeting of the Finance Committee of Milford. Tonight, as posted, we will go through the minutes, subcommittee reports, and a couple departments have been invited in to go over their budget submissions. As always, tonight we will not approve budgets, because until we know them all, we don't know if we can cover them, but we will accept budgets. Anything over the 3 to 4% target that we can't explain, we're asking the department heads to come in. And keep in mind that some of the budgets, like one of the ones we'll go over tonight, a few $1,000s can obscure the guidelines. So, you know, the big budgets, it's really critical we stay within. But we have some small budgets that a couple $1,000s here or there can take it out of our goals. So first thing, minutes. Let's clean up the minutes. Diana, do you have?
These are the January originals, and that this is the corrected, ones I corrected.
So we do have the January 6th minutes that were submitted. Unfortunately, they weren't changed according to protocol. Brent, do you have?
January 6th
Corrections?
or January 11th?
January 11th. I'm sorry.
I do have a correction, and I have a copy of it in writing. I can give it to you, but you have it already. In the countryside section, it said that I reported that the number of patients per month and the extra staffing is causing an increase to the budget. We know that's not true, that the shortfall of patients has been the issue. No, it's not the fact that we have too many patients. I'd suggested replacing that with Brent Hornberger reported that the patient demand has returned, and the issue is now an industry-wide staffing shortfall. So just a short generic statement that's more in line with what we discussed as a group. I had it in writing if you want to go to that, and I can just give you that sentence there with the brackets around it. That's the adjustment that I would make. Everything else in there is exactly the same, and there was some discussion about whether or not the minutes were adjusted for the need for follow-up, and there's absolutely no change to the minutes at any point around the need to follow up and to stay on top of this issue, so that was baseless.
Michael, do you have
In the
comments?
school department paragraph, only two short sentences. I want to replace the current wording with, school department, Mike Nicholson reported the level service budget is tentatively projected to increase from approximately $61.7 million to approximately $66.7 million, an increase of $5 million. Discussion followed. Pass that over to
Diana.
Diane.
Any other changes that people would request? To make sure we have this right, what I'm going to suggest is that Diana correct the minutes, and at our next meeting, bring the corrected version, and we vote on them then. Any other meeting minutes?
On January?
No,
No, we had the
February meeting. February 8th meeting minutes were sent. Does anybody have questions on those? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion to accept by Vinnie and seconded by Carly. All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Abstention.
And make a note that Mitch abstains. Chris, I'm sorry.
Who abstained?
Neighbor.
Mitch and Chris?
No,
No.
just Chris.
Just Chris.
Neighbors very quick.
Okay. Zach, you want to give us an overview to get us started?
Sure.
Tonight, we're going to go over a myriad of budgets that have been submitted. If they are within our guidelines, we'll have the option of accepting them. Anything that is not, if they can't be explained, we'll have the department heads come in.
Tom.
Thank you, Tom. You're welcome.
Zach, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, you should all be familiar with this spreadsheet at this time. You know, I like to call it the balance sheet, referencing a balanced budget, even though it's a profit and loss. I'll go through quickly each section, and then open it up for questions, and we can continue on with other budgets. So starting with the levy, we're up to $83.2 million. That's what it could have been last year. Again, magic of Prop 2.5, it's easy to estimate because it's 2.5%, we're allowed to increase. Other formula is new growth, we're estimating at 750,000 at this time. Could be a little more, could be a little less, it seems to be a nice historic figure. We obviously take into consideration known projects from the assessor, so that's where we ended up. We did increase local receipts, so we all know local receipts have been pretty healthy in this community for many years. So we did decide to increase it, most notably at the room occupancy number, which is actually listed below, included with state receipts there. But other factors such as motor vehicle excise is considered a local receipt. We increased that by 400,000 based on trend analysis. I still think it's a conservative number, which has been, in my opinion, a recipe for success, so we're gonna keep it that way, but it did warrant an increase this year. Nothing material, a few $100,000. When we look at the cherry sheet, this is important to note here. We all know the first round that came in, and the last time I presented, we did not know what Chapter 70 would be. We know now it's a very significant increase, so I'm sure we've all seen that. However, for purposes of presentation on this spreadsheet as it stands today, because right now it's only the first round that went through, it could change, could go up, could go down, we don't know, but at this time, again, historically, what we do is not put the full amount in based on the first run. What Paul and I did this year was put in 80% of the $6.7 million increase, and that is a huge number, primarily because of Chapter 70. And if I remember correctly, it's almost a 20% increase. I think it was 18.8, something like that. Huge increase. So that gives us wiggle room, if you will, if the next levels, as it goes through, decides, and it ends with Ways and Means, ends up decreasing, then we're set in a good position. If it does increase, also set in a good position. What it might mean is we can do additional capital if we need to when it comes to the October town meeting.
So Chapter 70, we're estimating went up 7%? I mean, 18%, 7 million again.
Yes, yep, that's the first round. But what we did for purposes of this presentation was only take 80% of that for now.
No, that makes sense.
Yep, okay.
But it's the second year in a row we've had $7 million
Yeah.
incremental.
Like I said at the last meeting, we didn't know it was gonna be, but it wouldn't shock me if it was large. I'm still a little shocked it's this large, but it's a good thing, we'll take it. Like I said, room occupancy, we returned to pre-pandemic levels. We always budgeted $1 million, we went with $1,050,000 this go around. Those two offsets are the library funds with the Mars that Mr. Nicholson's very familiar with, as well as school choice that goes to the school. Those are offsets because they're not part of the general fund, so we do back them out, but we do receive it from the state. So total from the state anticipating about 51 million. Again, could be better, but for now, we think it's prudent to keep it at 80%. Looking at the two enterprise funds, those are going to be a mirror image of what will be on the right-hand side with their expenditures. We don't expect too big of increases, certainly not with the sewer. Water, you'll see a little bit of an increase, but at this time, they're just finalizing their budget, and we will wait for the subcommittees to meet with them and then the commissioners to finalize it. We'll discuss it at a later time. But just to note that $12 million that's representing the water and the sewer is a direct offset on the other side with budgetary submission. I won't go through the budgets on the right-hand side on the column, but so at this time, I'd like to direct your attention to the bottom verbiage. So I will tell you how we built these out overall, and then we'll get into the budgets and we'll go through them. So we used a 5.5% factor on all budgets, mainly because of the personnel board comp study. Whoever is not maximized will have a COLA and a step. Steps are just under 4%, COLA this year is 3%. So you're gonna see in many budgets an increase in personal services that could be upwards of 6.8%, and then a lot of times the general expenses may be level funded. which the combination may peak 5. So we went with realistic figures, 5.5 overall, with the exception of the notables. I'm going to run through them quick, but like I mentioned with the water department, we have not had the opportunity with some of these to meet with subcommittees, so I would prefer that you save your questions till the next time we meet after the subcommittee had an opportunity to thoroughly review. But just again, just to quickly go through, Select Board, Department 122, we're looking at a 75% increase, and there's all justifiable reasons behind these.
But the 75% includes some transfers.
Not on that one, that includes a new position. But we'll-
Oh, okay.
We'll discuss that at the next meeting, please. Finance Director, my department, 40% increase, that's the transfer. We'll actually talk about that tonight, but I'll let these two gentlemen behind me go, and we'll talk about that after. Tax title, we're looking at a 200% increase, again, kind of following up on what you said earlier. That's been a $25,000 budget, so that goes to 75. That's one account where money comes back to the town, but again, we'll talk about it later at the next meeting when we can invite the department head and the subcommittees get to meet. IT may be looking at a 50% increase. Liability insurance may be looking at a 200% increase. I will discuss that today in the second segment when under Finance Director update. Police is looking at a 10% increase. School currently 10%. BBT 6%, although rumor has it may be a little bit better. And then the tree warden, I have 15. I believe the actual number is 10, but he is here tonight to discuss his budget.
We're going to go through all the individuals, but any general, Andy?
The BBT on this sheet says 6%, but this detailed handout says 2.4.
Yes, that's what I said.
It's gonna be better.
When we originally, so this has been like months in the making as we built this out. So historically, it's been kind of in that level, so we anticipated that it
I think the
would be.
P and L was supposed to be an indicator.
Okay.
Like the tree warden is here tonight, and we thought he was going up 15%. What he submitted was 10%. What BBT submitted was less than the 6% we thought they were going up originally.
Yeah. So obviously a work in progress there. Sure.
And this is why, over the past too many years, we've not approved any budgets. We accept the budgets. Because you never know that there could be a curveball come in at the end, and we have to adjust budgets. We haven't had to do that in many years. But if something happened, and one department came in, the roof blew off this, or that happened, and all of a sudden, we got to cut everybody's budget, that's why we will accept but not approve. At the end of the exercise, once this is all balanced out, and Zach's had a chance to say, yes, I give it the blessing, it does meet what we have to spend, then we'll have one omnibus motion to approve all the budgets. And that's where the 15% get put into 10s and the 6s get put into 3s. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if we just have an opportunity to wrap it up, take it full circle, just wanted to mention on the bottom right-hand side is where we put our financial goals and objectives in the form of monetary figures together. So we have our stabilization contribution earmarked here. We know we have to build in overlay, which is like our allowance for doubtful accounts for tax collection. That happens at the tax recap level. It's not a budgeted item, but it is. That's why it's here. We have assessments of $3.6 million. That's what it was last year. So if the governor's budget for state aid holds true, that's actually going to increase to $4 million, I'm sorry. But likewise, when we said the 80% on the revenue side, we're leaving the same on the assessment side for now, because that obviously could be subject to change as well. Capital projects, the beginning, when we first sat down with our chairmanship meeting, we said at 1.75 million. We're suggesting closer to 2 million now, but again, we'll cross those bridges when we get to October. And then we have the built-in levy adjustment, which is the same figure as last year, which is designed to control the tax rate and to be prepared for when we inevitably have to take on the financing of a new school. All that being said, taking all that into account, draw your attention to the very middle figure right there between the two blacked out boxes. We currently have a surplus of $1.8 million, again, at the 80% for state aid, with a bunch of other conservative aspects here. So long story short, I feel like we're in a really good position at this time.
And just so you know, capital projects at 175, those are critical capital projects. If we had no surplus and no free cash and no nothing, we have 1.75 in the budget to meet critical capital. Over the past years, people have said, well, you only budget 1.7 and you spend $3-4 million. That's because we've had extra free cash that we can apply. And when you look at $2 million projected surplus, that sounds really exciting, but if you do the percentage, 1.6, 156 million, and you got 1.8, that's like 1.5%. So we're projecting our spending and our revenues within 1.5%. I don't feel comfortable going even that tight. I'd rather have it at 3%, but the way it looks, we'll be okay. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Zach, great job as always. Just a couple things I want you to highlight. I know me and you have talked. A 5.5% overall increase is one of the biggest we've seen in a while. We also are in the perfect storm of contract renegotiations with as many unions as I've ever seen come together. I think it's going to be a reoccurring theme going from budget to budget that this is why this went up. Can you just, for anyone who doesn't know and for the public, just let them know that what has basically been happening over the last 12 months
I'm glad you asked that.
between all these unions and all these things that are causing a significant increase in every department for salaries, and
Yep.
if you could do that, that'd be great. Thank you.
Absolutely, Mr. Moore, I appreciate you teeing that up. And actually, I went over this with Andy as well via email. So he's absolutely correct. You're gonna see a common theme running through many of these budgets, is 3 different themes going on. We talked about this at the last meeting, where we had all these different collective bargaining units for one reason or the other, all lining up at the same time. So when you see the selectmen are looking to approve the warrant on Monday, when it comes out, you're gonna see many articles for retroactive payment of many unions all simultaneously. That's for the retroactive component. Same time, we're building out the fiscal '24 budget. In some cases, certainly the police, and Carly and Andy went over this, you're gonna see all 3 years built into one budget. You'll see an article retroing 2, and then therefore the full impact of the entire contract will be built into the fiscal '24 budget. That's probably the most extreme case, but with one of the bigger budgets, but that's a common theme that's happening with others. Some might be 2 years worth. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these 5.5s. The second, as I described earlier, is with the new comp study. Not everyone's maxed out. Many are, but not everyone. So whoever's not will get COLA and a step. And it's the same practice that you see in collective bargaining as well. And then the last component, similar to what I just said with the collective bargaining, we have about 10 different personal contracts in town, and almost all of them are also lining up at the same time. So you'll see renegotiated contracts that are hitting this budget as well. So that's the 3 common themes as we'll be going through these budgets that I'll be referring to. I'm glad you asked that, thank you.
Brent?
I just want to play back what I think I heard to make sure I've got it right. It's particularly on the retro piece. So the retro piece would go into this budget, and what I'm getting at is that means next year you'd have, that wouldn't be in the following year's budget, right? So if everything's equal, you'd have more room in the budget next year, because the retro that's in this budget wouldn't be in the year from now.
Actually, the funding source, because we want to get them paid right away, is going to
Yep.
be free cash. So free cash is actually not even recognized on this,
Right.
but your second point is valid. It will be in the budget
Yep.
The full impact will be budgeted through Article 4, and that'll be the starting point for next year.
Funded from free cash, okay.
But the retros will be funded through free cash,
Okay.
yep, which is not recognized on this spreadsheet.
That's perfect, I like that answer.
Any other questions? I got to deal with a point of order. I just noticed that we did not vote properly on approving the February minutes. We had a straight vote, and Chucky is here, so we need to have a roll call vote. So we'll re-vote, and I'll give anybody who has any comments on the February 6th minutes. Motion by Michael Nicholson to approve, by Carly to second. Roll call, Chucky.
Thumbs up, Chuck.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joycey.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Yep.
Chris.
Yes.
Vinnie.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
Sorry I overlooked it, but favorable. I just want to make sure we don't miss out on protocol. Okay, so as we've done for the past umpteen years, we're going to go through each department budget as submitted. The details have been sent to everybody. Anybody who doesn't have the details, let me know, and I will send them. We will go through tonight as many of the budgets that fell in the 3 to 4%, and then ask questions, because certain budgets are a little bit above, and they can be explained, especially when you start moving people around inside of departments. But we'll start with tree warden. 495.
And you abstained from.
Now, the tree warden budget in the last 3 years, in 2021 was 89,000, in 2022 was 90,000, and Chuck, you're submitting a request for 98,000, 99,000, which $9,000 more than last year, but that's 10% over. My understanding is that's mainly due to inflation and the new police contract.
Yes, and then unexpected work, like, for just quick example, there was an issue at the Heights Park, and that took 10,000 out right away. We had to spend 10,000. That wasn't on our agenda to be taken care of this year, or in this budget. However, we had to do it, so that kind of stuff eats up money quick in a small budget such as mine.
Okay. So it's inflation, the new police contract, and the Prospect Heights.
Yes, and other unforeseen jobs, trees that would come down, that would cost, act of God type things, and then we have to go in and deal with that. Those kind of things eat up money quickly.
And you think the 98,000 will cover you for this upcoming year?
Try, yes. This is the first time I've really come in to go over the noted increase that is normal. I've always stayed within the budget, however, this year it's been difficult for me.
Well, we can't really ask you to control inflation or the police contract. Any questions?
I have one. How does the police contract mix in with the tree warden?
We have to get details for road jobs.
Oh, okay. For traffic control.
Traffic control, safety, and so on.
The contract dictates how many we hire for how long and at what rate.
Yeah.
So when that goes up, that's charged to Chucky's budget.
We had at the police subcommittee meeting, but it's a topic for another time, I guess, but flagmen versus policemen. And I don't want to talk about it now, but at some point, I'd like to bring that up.
Bring it up at the subcommittee and then bring it up, but for tonight, I'd say we got to deal with what reality is
Oh,
today.
yes.
Mr. Chairman, just briefly, I think I would like to say, just acknowledge, the last interaction we had with you was really around the bike path, and I don't know if anybody went to the bike path and saw all those trees that were down, and then how much work was done after. There was a ton of trees cleaned up on that bike path, and people should pay attention to how much work is done around town when things like that
We had to
happen.
bring in special equipment for that, but it was well worth it because we got so much done at a very reasonable cost, if you will.
Any other questions?
Chuck, you've done a fantastic job. I mean, I don't understand because you have a tan, so obviously you're on vacation. No, seriously, Chuck, you've done a fantastic
Yeah,
job.
outside all the time.
I understand the increase. You haven't asked for a significant increase in several years. I mean, at least 3 or 4. And this is not significant.
No, it's not.
No, like I say, the 10% looks like a big number, but it's 9,000 whole dollars.
Exactly. Great job,
It's a
Chuck.
few more days' work, basically.
Yeah. Okay, do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Carly's got it,
Okay, second.
Vinnie second. All in favor, we'll start with a roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Who seconded that?
Vinnie?
Carly and Vinnie.
Mitch stepped out, yes.
Yes.
Okay, approved. I'm sorry, accepted.
Except, thank you.
Thank you for your work.
One more point to bring up. I'm getting quite low in this '23 budget, and I just want to make you aware of that. I talked to Zach about it. We may need to ask for a small amount of money to tide us over till July. Maybe around 10,000.
Okay. Well, if it's unexpected or emergency, we can help out without having to go for another article. Well, no, the warrant's already closed.
We're thinking, that would be the worst case scenario. I don't think that would be the case, but we're thinking through the transfers that I sponsor at town meeting.
Right. Or we can do it out of our fund.
Yeah.
You know, if it's an emergency, a tree needs dealt with or some 10 grand we can cover.
The job that came in from some property we didn't know we owned.
I'm sure Highway can find $10,000 to transfer.
I don't know, Chucky, you're not controlling inflation, you're not controlling contracts, and now you're not controlling what we own.
Right, right. That comes up more often than you would think. People call and say this is town property. I go to engineering and say, I don't think it is. Lo and behold, it becomes.
Surprise.
Yeah, it's a big surprise.
But thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you
Great
very
job,
much.
Chucky.
Thanks, Eric.
Okay,
Now, this is a motion to
accept
Accept
to
his
accept
budget.
what?
his submission of 98,500.
Okay,
This is account number 495.
yep, I got that. Yeah.
We have a new person.
Yes.
Come forward, please.
Didn't know how to
Certainly.
word it.
Why don't you introduce yourself, because a lot of people, including me, didn't know who you were.
Sure, yeah, Dan Surreal, the new director of the Board of Health. This started last month, so first time.
Well, hopefully, this will be a first pleasant experience.
Hopefully.
So now, Dan, trying to think of the account numbers.
510.
510 Health Department, going from,
And 431.
Yeah, 431 is the prevalent one right now.
Yeah.
431 is for trash removal.
well, okay, 510. We're going from 2021, 329, to 2022, 378, to 2023, 401. So it's a 6% increase. My understanding, it's all dictated by contractual
It
obligations.
is, yes. Yep, by the COLA and all the steps.
So there's really no,
No, we're not asking for anything above what's in those contracts.
questions? Roll call. Well, I need a motion.
Motion to accept.
Chris Moran, motion to accept. Vinnie, second. Roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Chris?
Yep.
Yes.
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 What
Yes.
number was that?
510.
Health Department.
510.
Okay.
Okay, that's going up 6%. All contractual. The big one, 431. Waste collection has gone from 2,500,000 to 2,600,000 to this year 3 million, 15% increase.
Yep, so there's, the big part of this is adding trash toters to the service. So we'll provide a 95-gallon trash and a 95-gallon recycle. So that's $280,000 a year for that service. It should hopefully help keep the town a lot cleaner and provide a much better service.
No, I'm sorry, what are we doing?
Whoa.
I totally missed the word, yeah.
So the plan in this budget here is to add a trash collection, is to add a 95-gallon trash tote and a 95-gallon recycle tote will be distributed and maintained by E.L. Harvey as part of this contract,
To give,
to every single resident.
I'm getting one of those?
Yep. That is, if this is approved and goes forward, yes.
Approved.
No.
No, I'm kidding, I'm joking with you.
Wait a minute.
No, seriously, so they're gonna distribute that?
So that.
So we're going to this one stream idea that you get one bucket for this and one bucket for that?
Yep, so there'll be two.
What happens on graduation and Christmas?
So the plan right now, none of this has been finalized.
Okay.
We're in discussion with E.L. Harvey in terms of this contract, but the plan for that would be to provide at the stores like in other municipalities where they buy extra bags.
So we're going to have a new tax?
This would only be for trash above would fit in that 95 gallon.
You're putting your hand in my pocket and taking out money. This feels like a new tax.
Well, it costs $280,000 to get the tax.
I'm not happy.
Well,
Let's talk.
you get your 95 gallons of trash every week.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I've talked to different towns, and the problem runs into, we have graduation parties in Milford,
I've heard.
where all of a sudden, you've got a lot of trash. We have
Or holidays.
days like Christmas,
Yep.
where one,
Saturday nights.
and all of a sudden now, I got to go buy designer trash bags.
This would, 95 gallon total would cover most anybody's.
It's like 3 trash barrels.
That's not true. That's not.
So wait a minute.
I have 3 at my house.
Would people be able to use the barrels that they have now as a secondary?
No, that's what I'm
This is
saying.
provided
No, I
by,
understand, but right now I have an 80 gallon or whatever it is, 100 gallon black trash barrel.
Yeah.
Can I use that as the second?
No.
That's the
No.
point. No.
Oh, I don't like this.
That's my point.
We went through this years ago, and the thing became is all of a sudden, they're looking at economy because they got their machine set up for that one 95 gallon,
yes.
and it really,
So can we just be clear for a second? So $280,000, everyone gets a trash receptacle and a recycle receptacle, but that is the only 2 things they are ever allowed to put on the curb, unless,
You would pay for additional services.
no, you can buy designer trash bags. My daughter was in
am
Worcester.
I paying for additional services or am I buying extra trash bags?
You're buying extra trash bags.
With the bag, you pay for the service. right?
You're buying designer trash bags that you
You're
can put
meant-
And
out,
that truck will still pick it up, but I'm
Yes.
also purchasing.
but you're paying
Yep.
for it. It's a new tax.
Versus today where we can put out some sort of amount of trash.
So I think what you're hearing from us is there is interest in not passing on an extra tax to the town residents. Is there a way in this negotiation to provide the trash cans and pick up their efficiency, but avoid more taxes for the citizens and have it be part of our contract? Because that's a contract structure issue.
Yes, we can't, then this budget probably gets a lot higher.
Yeah, make it higher.
That's the.
Make it
Well, I think the problem I have, Dan, is that this is the first time, at least I'm hearing about it as a resident, and I don't see a lot of faces that we all knew about this.
I didn't know about it until Monday.
I'm so sorry, this is your introduction to our, seriously, you should have come in and
Well, I think it's
talked about, like, free
unreasonable that
fluoride or
before you were
something,
working
like-
for us, you weren't already working on this.
No way. I
But-
say table this, I'm not, there's,
Well, a lot of us have bought these dump bins, you know.
I know, I've
What are you gonna
spent
do?
Michael, it's not even what we've bought. What worries me is I remember the little yellow Worcester designer trash bags that were $3 a piece that my daughter would have to buy.
Yeah, we've talked about this for 20 years on
Yes.
this committee, that we would never charge people for that stuff.
It's a tax.
In all due respect, I'm so sorry, I don't mean this in any bad way. Get me a budget where I can put my trash bins out and bring it before us, and we will talk to you. Because until then, I will stand up on town meeting floor and I will fight this.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
This is my fault, 'cause I was at the meeting that, when this was all discussed, and I think the issue with the toters is that it's going to economize the wheelabrator cost. 'Cause-
Yeah.
So that will be down, so to your point, Chris, is like.
You're right, Dave.
No, but if you
I
want to.
don't care, though.
No, I get that,
Hold on,
I
hold
think it's a
on.
perception issue right now, because if we're gonna increase the budget, you're gonna increase the taxes, no matter what. So it's either the 6 of one or 6 of the other, which way you wanna do it. It depends on if you wanna go out and get a bag, or if you wanna increase your taxes to the
But the
budget.
problem I have is, I don't know where this was discussed. Maybe I missed the referendum, the town getting together and discussing the pluses and minuses.
So let me just add one little more caveat to this, which probably won't go over as well, is that this new contract services excludes bulk as well. And the definition, I believe, of the bulk is anything that doesn't fit in the 95-gallon container. So then what you would have to do is, like, if you have something like a TV or something like that, they usually put out that that won't fit in the 95-gallon container, now can be picked up, the subscription, call E.L. Harvey or call somebody, One Junk Removal, somebody like that.
So more tax.
And they'll remove it.
At a fee?
As a fee.
Yeah,
That was the problem,
Or
sorry.
take it to the transfer station.
That was the problem we ran into when we went over this years ago, is that people were saying, one of the nice things we like is if you have a couch, if you have something.
One large item.
One large item. And what it kept people from doing is having the accidents where, and I apologize for picking on people with pickup trucks, having a couch on the back of a pickup truck, going to Asylum Street, hitting a bump, and all of a sudden the couch is on the side of Asylum Street. There was no reason for that anymore.
I never saw
So we're going to get back to doing that again.
So what we are seeing though is people taking advantage of that service and collecting trash from other towns and bringing it here. And we're paying for that.
Collecting trash from other.
We're collecting bulk items, doing cleanouts, bringing it here. We're dealing with that a lot in our office. That is a serious problem that this town is dealing with, and we're paying for that.
Well, then I'd say let's identify the people who are doing
We're
it.
trying to, but the problem is, you've made it so it's okay to do that, is to put out a bulk item every week in front of your house. So if that's okay, that's what we're seeing.
Okay.
So, but on that thread, I mean, so you hear a pretty clear message from us. On that thread, what's hard for us is with that reduction of service, the cost is still going up, right? So like if the cost was going to $1 million flat from $2.5 million, and you said, hey, this is what we're saving, and okay, Al, you're gonna have to buy some designer trash bags, but you're actually saving $1.5 million, you would at least entertain the fact that you're saving money. Here, what's happening is the bill's going up. A lot of us already have the toters. We're looking at this and going, wait, this is a degradation of service, and we would actually like to have our service stay. You're hearing that kind of thing from basically
Well,
everybody.
I think Chris brought it up to say, we should know what the options are.
Well, right now, you're only allowed to have so much out.
But right now, I have two 75-gallon recycled bins. I never have any issue with them taking both of them.
Not until tonight.
Not until tonight.
This will give you a recycle every other week,
No, but that's what we have now, every other week, but I have two of those totes, or whatever you want to call them. Now I'm going down to one, and I gotta stop buying bags. I mean, it's not just the extra cost, it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you take-
Wait a minute, let him talk.
That should be in some textbook somewhere, municipal government.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, you'd still be able to take it to the transfer station too.
Yeah, but I don't have to do that now. Why do I want to start doing that?
Convenience.
We can certainly discuss this with Harvey.
Well, I think the biggest thing is to discuss it with the residents.
Yeah.
Because it may be, you're saying it's going to go up 280. Residents may say, let it go up 380, but don't take away my service. Zach?
Mr. Chair, after hearing all this dialogue, it seems to me that the most appropriate course may be that this goes in the form of an article so that you can have that discussion and that it's not embedded in the budget for the first go.
Well, I'm going to suggest that we invite the health department to come in
Yeah, that too.
at the next meeting and start by cluing us in as to what the proposal is, what the options are. Because I hear it'll go up anyway. Well, I mean, we went through this when we had leave collection, and we said the budget's going to go up anyway. Yeah, but Town of Milford said we're willing to pay a little bit extra to maintain leaf collection. This may be the same thing. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go on this. I think I know, but until I know the facts, it's kind of hard to have an informed opinion.
And when the floor fell out of recycling, which we had 2 years ago, when we were getting, it was actually costing us money to recycle versus that. We dealt with that 2 years ago too, and still everyone said, we don't care, we're still gonna do it. So I know you wishing Paul was sitting in that seat right now, I know you are.
It is, so, I mean, right now, we're paying, I think it's about 75 a ton for trash and $101 a ton for recycling to get rid of it.
Yeah, and that's a question people are asking. Are we hurting ourselves
Recycling.
by recycling?
You don't even go down
But,
there.
you're doing the right thing for the environment.
Yep.
but it's costing you 30% more to recycle than to trash.
If the stuff's really being
Yeah, if
recycled.
it's actually.
Yeah, and then you hear that it's not being recycled at all, it's just being incinerated.
A big part of it's the glass, from what I'm told. The glass, recycled glass might be removed from the recycling stream because it basically contaminates all the other recycling. It's causing a lot of issues.
May I ask another question?
Please.
You're going up 400,000, 280 is this?
280s, and then the rest of it is just the cost of, so that part of it's gonna be the cost of, so wheel graders, where it gets disposed of, and their cost is based on the CPI, the Northeast Clerical, I think it is. And right now, we won't know exactly till April's CPI comes out, but it's gonna be around 4.5 or 5%.
With inflation.
Increase. So it's an inflationary,
It
it's
is,
a, okay.
it is, yeah. And the same thing, like their contract, Harvey's contract is based on prevailing wages, and so it's all inflationary, so, I mean, the really, 280,000 is built in to provide, that is just to provide the toters for every single residence and maintain them.
Thank you.
Any idea of the no bulk would be the offset to control those costs because it'd be less going through Willow?
So right now, bulk is included
Bulk is included in these numbers.
in these numbers.
But we
So
don't include
if
the
it was
number.
removed, it would obviously, it would lessen the cost.
Correct.
So this does not take away my ability to leave a couch down at the bottom.
Not right now.
For now.
And again, I'm not saying we should or we shouldn't,
Yeah.
but to me, we should ask the residents, because it's a tax. Any way you shake it, you're spending more money, you're taxing me, you're taking money out of my pocket.
I understand, it's,
You know, and again, I'm not picking on you, but I am absolutely against automatically just passing on taxes without giving people the information to make an informed decision. Vinnie?
Yes, right now, currently, we separate plastic, glass, cardboard, paper. If you're giving us one recycle container, that we mix everything together?
yeah, that's how it's taken when it goes to.
That's one stream.
That's what we're doing now.
Yeah,
No.
No, we're separating it.
No, I separate my newspapers.
it's-
Exactly.
It's better for Harvey, from what they've told us, because it's all getting dumped in one.
Oh, all right, so it doesn't make any difference.
So I'm separating it for no reason.
Separated for nothing.
But you're saving me 2-3 man-hours a week.
Yeah.
He makes his wife do it anyway. What difference?
Yeah, that would work.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is I know it sounds so silly that we're gonna go on this debate about trash, but I think it is a significant conversation.
It really is.
I really think we should just, instead of continuing to spin our wheels here,
Yep.
just do it in another meeting.
One
We will
question,
invite you to the next meeting in April to go over this.
Mr. Chairman, just a question on that. It sounded like their contract negotiations with the supplier is involved in this, so maybe, and I'm just wondering whether that would have to be executive session or not?
Well, I think the issue I'd like to see is, here are the options. If we go to this one stream, it's $100. If we keep what we have, it's $110.
So
You know-
I can kind of tell you that. So basically, what they have said would be, so without the cards and just keeping it as is, you're talking, this should be 1789601 for the rubbish removal.
Wait a minute, it's 2.5 last year.
No, just for the rubbish removal. That would cover the rubbish and the recycling.
Just that one line item.
Yeah,
This is
just
part
that
of the
one line item
math.
would cover the rubbish and recycling, based on averages from this current last year.
So 431 says waste collection. You would break that up?
There was a few line items in the
It
budget.
doesn't
Yeah,
include, it
so-
doesn't include disposal.
So how Harvey does it, because they actually they take the recycling, so they include that in their cost, the estimates of their cost. So they basically, I think we were at 172. Yeah, 1,720,000. And basically you'd be looking at just shy of 1.8.
So $100,000 more.
Yeah, without changing anything.
So
We have
even,
$5.3 million in levy, yes, yes.
Well,
we,
again,
no toter, no giving toters to everyone. The cost is going up because of
Yeah.
inflationary, at least 100,000.
One way or the other, it's, you know.
and that's what I'm saying. I'd like to know the options, because people may turn around, just like we did on leaf collection, and say, yeah, it's going to be an extra 150 grand a year, we want it. Or, no, it's not worth
We're
it.
paying for toters, too. If we don't have to pay for toters, there's a
Well, I
cost
think
involved with that,
that's
too.
the answer, right? The delta between the 100 and the 280 would be the cost of the toters, in
Exactly.
If
theory.
you're talking another 280 on top of that one.
If we don't give anybody toters, though, we say, keep your toters.
But you also might be, the trash issues here will get worse.
The base cost, even if we don't give anyone toters, you think the base cost would go up because the
It's
trash
definitely
gets
gonna go
worse?
up. I know that.
It's going up, and then the trash issues that we see around town are gonna continue to get worse.
But couldn't the toter thing be done upon request? I mean, half of the people may be fine with what they have. Why would we spend?
Because they need to have it for the trucks,
No,
they need to have it set up.
it's a system, Andy. The truck is set up
The guy
to
doesn't want to
pick
get out
up
of his
toters.
truck.
You know, it's efficiency, it's what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
No, but I'm trying to understand, there's a problem because what? Because people are just putting their trash out in shambles, or what is the problem, actually? But what I'm saying is, as to, like, on my street, it's like a military efficiency. Everybody's got barrels, they come, boop, pick them up.
Certain areas of
But you're
town.
saying there are other places, so why can't people just get them when they need them?
You gotta raise, Brownie, move.
Well, it's.
So instead of being
Harvey
200,
wants, for them to be able to use the truck efficiently, they want it all.
I understand, but the efficiency of the use of the truck is a separate issue, I assume, from what you're talking about the trash problem getting worse. That's not necessarily having a cookie cutter tote, that's just people not having the
No, but it will
proper
give people-
receptacles
Yeah.
Okay.
We're seeing it around town where the people just aren't using receptacles.
at all.
Yeah.
But who's gonna be in charge of compliance, and now that we buy all
Yeah.
these, so you're gonna have to go,
Well, Harvey will maintain, they'll replace stolen, whatever.
but if you give me the toters, I choose not to use them, I put out my trash bags, you're gonna come,
They're not going to take them.
I feel like that's gonna increase trash issues.
No, but that's direct, because like, how do we know the toter's gonna work? I mean, this is where the term Seattle Stomp came from, because they changed all their trash policy, and then people would just throw the bags in the woods. Which is kind of like, if I get confused by dumping off my trash, I'm just gonna throw it behind my house. So, like, what is, how do we know this is gonna, if we, like, I don't mind spending money on an issue if it solves a problem. How do we know this solves the problem?
Or perpetuates a problem.
From personal experience, where I live, we went through this 3 years ago, it made a big difference.
I'm trying to make a simple
Okay,
point. here,
guys,
that
I
can't we
think
just
this horse has been kicked, knifed, shot,
And left out on the side.
And we're coming
and left out,
And we're coming back to knife it again in a couple weeks.
and left out not in a tote.
It's a both of them now, they're not taking the horse.
April, we will invite you and give you plenty of time. And again, personally, I want to know what my options are.
No
Because
problem.
Carly's onto it. If it's going to cost me 100 grand more and I don't have to change anything, that's an option.
Might be an easier option.
If it's going to cost me 300 more with the totes one time, and then next year I save 200, that's an option.
The totes would be every year. That's to maintain.
recurring costs.
300,000 a year for totes?
Yep.
No, come on.
Okay, that, again, add a question, why? Are you replacing the totes every year?
No, it's to maintain them.
Ah,
Yeah. So we would have nothing, they'll maintain them, they'll deliver them, everything.
for $300,000, they ought to wash them and sign them. Okay, I'm sorry, that was uncalled
It
for.
comes down to, I think it's literally $28 a residence per year.
No, that's not bad.
It's really, it sounds like a lot. They broke it down, because if you go to a 3-family, a 4-family, a 5-family, they're gonna get 5 cents.
Yeah.
So when you break it all down, it's for each resident. it's
Well,
really
I
minimal.
apologize for not making this as pleasant as I hoped.
Welcome to Milford.
Well, thank you.
My time.
We'll see you in April.
A lot easier for them. I have seen lots.
Thank you.
Seriously, thank you so much. We really, we are nice people.
Leave me your name and email.
What's that?
Leave me your name and email on a piece of paper. Sure. So I can invite you. Okay, let's get to a little less exciting topics.
I want to know if Lowe's will give me a refund on theirs.
$150 a piece I paid for my
Are
barrels.
we making a motion to accept this one, or no?
No,
No,
this-
no.
Chris suggested we table it, so no
no.
action is needed. Thank you, sir. SYRRALA?
Sorry, my writing's not that.
SYRIALA. Okay,
We'll get it from Rick if we can't read it.
Thank you.
okay. Now, let's start on the budgets that have been submitted.
That poor guy is resigning right now.
Poor guy. We're talking
He's
about a horn.
resigning right now.
I can't blame him. He had no idea. He had no
Nobody
idea.
cares about trash pickup.
Great.
I can do 610 library.
Huh?
I can do 610
Well, let
library.
me go right down the list in
Okay.
order. 122 Select Board, would you like to wait till next month to go over that?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay, 135 Finance Director, up 38%.
I think we can address that now.
Yeah.
Okay, that one went from 229 in 21 to 251 in 22
Okay.
to 364, 38% in proposed 23.
Yep, thank you. So as mentioned in the opening that I did earlier, primarily most of that increase is a reclassification of a promotion that I did within my office. I had an employee negotiated and removed from the Mace Union. He's our new Assistant Town Accountant, Brian Maeda. He's doing a fantastic job. I'll give him a shout out. With that said, he's no longer clerical, so I had it removed from Department 148, which is mostly clerical union employees, and I placed it into my budget. There's a couple reasons why. First, what I just said. Second is, as we've seen last year, with moving senior center employees out of 148 and into the senior center budget, we moved the paralegal position out of 148 general government and into the legal department. So we're really trying to be more clear on what the costs per department are, and he's a integral part of my department that works on accounts payable and payroll, so it's clearly a cost within the finance and accounting department. So that's why we did the reclassification. You'll see it removed from Department 148 as well. Secondarily, I renegotiated my contract. I have an increase, and town accountant Tom Brown also is in year 2 of his contract with a COLA increase.
Question, so this, the big jump is really a transfer, not an increase?
Correct.
Exactly, Mr. Chairman. This is all really a transfer from 148, so you're going to see a decrease there, as Zach said. That's all this is.
Okay.
I don't see
The
a
rest of it's
decrease in
contractual
general
obligations.
government.
There's something else. in
No,
general
because the general government, we're going to talk about,
There's,
we-
yeah, there's something else there.
asked him to double or increase the, my understanding is, it is a negative because of Mr. Maeda's salary going out, but then we doubled it up with the extra audit money for the more expanded audit. So that, when we get to 148, that was my first question of Dr. Brown, is saying, you tell me it's going down, I see a 2% increase. But if you look at the details, it went down and then went back up because of the audit money. We'll go through that 148.
And that is one of the biggest things that we've talked about for 15 years. Getting people who work into departments to have their money recognized in that department. Before, we were sitting there saying, oh, he works for me, but he's in this department. So, just like Zach said, Maeda works in that department. His salary should be reflected in that
Yep.
department. And that's what this is doing.
Any other questions? Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Chris to accept, Carly to second. Roll call, Chucky.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
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 Unanimous.
Yes, yes.
Okay, next one, 141 assessor. Let me start off by saying that's gone up 392,000 to 439,000 was a big jump, but then this year they're proposing to go from 439 to 448, 2%.
Motion to accept.
Any questions, comments? Roll call, Chucky.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yep.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Who seconded that?
Carly.
Caroline.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unanimous. Treasurer. going from 21, 231, 22 is 263, this year is 273. It's just shy of 4% increase. Any questions?
Contractual obligations, I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion made. Anybody second it? Vinnie, any questions? Roll call, Chucky.
Did you make the motion?
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Tax collector,
Same thing, contractual obligations.
6% going from 264 to 279. As far as I could tell from their individual line item, it was all step-related contracts.
Absolutely, that's my motion to accept.
Okay? Okay, Chris and Mitch, any discussion? Just so you all know, I'm making notes here, and I'll send you a copy at the end, so you don't have to try and keep up. Red will be used to indicate that we still have to discuss it, because it's outside the guidelines. Green will be that we accepted it, and black, we haven't gotten to it yet. Okay. Roll call, Chucky.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Yes.
Which one was that?
Yes.
146.
146.
I got that one, okay.
Benefits. Zach, you can help out here, because benefits are going up 7% from 141,000 to 151.
It's the same deal, same recurring issue. It's the general expenses are level funded, and the personal services are contractual obligations. There's 2 employees in that department. One's union, one is personnel board, and was awarded a step increase mid-year,
So it's contract.
contract, yeah.
Motion.
Motion?
Chris. Carly. No discussion. Chucky, roll call.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unanimous. Okay, general government, this is the one that we took out a person which dropped their budget and then doubled up, I don't say double, how much did we add for audit?
Double it, but I would ask, we are formulating a meeting for next week. We can talk about
Yeah, but
it.
I'll, if you don't mind, Zach, I'll talk about it. The biggest increases right now, postage, you'll notice, is gone up $28,000. Postage for everything has gotten out of control. So you have a 28,000 increase in that. The other big thing is that the Novatime data processing, we are now moving more and more of our archive documents, moving more and more of our documents, to archived, whether it's microfiche, scanning, that type of stuff.
Novatime's actually the time and attendance software.
Oh, sorry.
What you're talking about is at 120.
122,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, so yes, the Novatime is this one.
Yep.
I apologize. So we have that with the data, so in 122. So that's the increase in that. You'll notice everything in there is basically a general expense that, with inflation and everything, has gone up. And we can bring in general government in here, as Zach said, but I just thought between just the postage alone,
Yeah.
increase, you're noticing the increase in the department.
So that's 148.
Mr. Chairman, what are we mailing? What are we doing?
148,
Postage?
general.
No, the postage. What is the postage?
Everything that can sense. Every time you can open your mailbox and it says to Mr. David Levine and it has Town Milford on it.
I thought ballots, tax bills,
Ballots, yeah, exactly.
I mean, is it, okay.
Everything.
I just got my
Is
app.
it cheaper to do like email, like through constant contact?
I've asked that we can.
You got legal limitations on what you do.
All right, so, all right.
Census, I mean, anything that leaves this building by snail mail
Yeah.
is paid for.
Permits.
Permits,
Yeah, your FinCom report that goes.
Everything.
Early voting.
No email, you can email this stuff.
any other questions on 148?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we mentioned doubling audit, but we just said it kind of fast. What's the dollar value going to, it's like, what exactly are the dollars on that?
30 to 60.
Okay.
Oh, is that definite?
The money is allocated is definite, whether we spend it or
That's my
not.
question.
We haven't moved. Zach would come and explain that he's going from 30 to 31 because, or from 30 to 59 because. This is putting the money away like we asked him to,
We're doubling.
but we're not committing to spending 60.
And as I explained last time, it's the last year of the contract with the longstanding auditor. If I am going to change, it's going to double.
Right.
Okay. Roll call, Chucky.
I think
Yes.
the motion.
We get a
was-
motion?
I thought we had a motion in a second.
No, I'm making the motion to accept on 148.
And Brand is second. Sorry, thank you.
Who seconded it?
Brant. Chucky.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joycey. Mitch.
Abstain.
Mitch abstains.
Yes.
Chris, yes.
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 Who abstained?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, Mitch, one abstention, all the rest favorable.
Mitch?
Yeah.
153, Human Resources, going up 5%.
Yep,
My-
it's all contractual.
My understanding is it's all due to step-related
It
contracts.
is. Yep, that's what I was opening with the step and the COLA. In this case, it's 6.2 level funded.
Any questions?
It's overall 5.4.
Motion, Andy,
Second.
Chris. Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Mitch,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Title foreclosures, Zach, help us with that one, because that's a
Large increase, as I mentioned, it's
25,000 to 75,000.
25 to 75. Town treasurer has been working with Capola and Capola, they're a tax title firm. He's expecting 10 court cases in fiscal '24. This is one of those towns where the money is recovered. We are able to recoup it.
So this is working in our favor, unfortunately.
Yes. Yep, we got to
'Cause
put
we're
up some
for-
money to get some. money
Right.
back, yeah. Yes.
But the more we spend, the more we get back. Unfortunately, at the negative
Yes,
effect of,
It's expected in '24 that's.
yeah, whether it be next year or the year after.
Yep.
Michael, you look perplexed.
no, I'm good.
Any questions? Then motion,
A motion by who?
Motion by me.
Chris, second, Andy, I'm sorry, Brant, Chris and Brant. Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Conservation Committee, 3%. Any questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Michael and Andy. No questions? Roll call. Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Mitch,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. 182, Industrial Commission, flat at $3,000.
Motion.
Chris, who's second?
I will.
Carly? Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous. Okay, next one, 186, Fair Housing,
Motion.
3%. Okay, we got a motion and got a second? And Mitch seconds it. Any questions?
Seconded.
Mitch. $70.
Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
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 Yeah,
Unanimous. Public property, going 4%. What is public
I
property?
don't know.
Public building and property, that's the personal services, our custodial crew.
Ah,
And then all the repairs and utilities and electrical costs, stuff like that. But all building repairs that Carly was asking earlier before the meeting, like some of the major police and fire, they do their own. Every other building is come to do this account.
It's actually kind of amazing when we went 4%.
I know.
Well, that's one of the biggest things we talked about when I had talked with Zach about this, the inflation costs on maintenance, third parties has significantly gone up. So to Mitch's point, for this to only go up 4% is remarkable.
motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mitch, second.
I got it.
Carly. Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joycey.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Unanimous. Okay, here's a hot one, Zach. Help us out with this. 194, other insurance. It's gone from 87,000 in '21 to $1.25 in '22 to propose 350,000.
I'll talk about it tonight, guys. We don't need a vote on it if we want to go through it again with the subcommittee, but I'll talk about it tonight.
I mean, if it's straightforward, we can vote on it.
I just don't want to leave the subcommittee out there.
That's my point.
Yeah, but I'll go over it at a high level. On a table that we can. So, this account historically, if you look at last year, we upped it to $125,000. Prior to that, it's been consistently $87,000, basically since I started. This is a direct transfer account. If you look at like the final Article 4, the very last page describes what gets transferred and where. This account here, that last page authorizes this funds to be transferred directly into our self-insurance fund. So again, as a reminder, we're self-insured with both liability claims, if something were to happen and we're responsible, as well as building and property. So an example, a police cruiser gets in an accident, we pay for it ourselves. Now, on top of that, we're not completely left exposed. The document I just handed out to everybody now describes the various supplemental policies that we have. This is an actual invoice, so we get the right-hand side is like installment payments, so I'll draw your attention to the left-hand side, starting with property. We pay, during this current fiscal year, $192,787 for property. Now, that's like very high-level deductible property, like if this building caught on fire and it was over $250,000. That's the only time we tap into that. Otherwise, again, we're self-insured, we pay it. Law enforcement, we cover our police officers, we pay $77,000 per year. Public officials, we cover our selectmen, this committee, all public officials, that costs about $34,500. Workers' comp, forget out of here, because we know we actually budget that in Article 4, so ignore that 380. Flip the page, next one, these are just one-time costs. Nurses, professionals, cover the school nurses, inland marine. I think it's a silly name, but what that basically means is it's covering like photocopiers and printers and stuff like that. And then, just like I said, with public officials, it's also coverage on school. Those amounts are being paid out of the liability claims trust. You do the math, that's $350,000 we're up to. We're only transferring in $125,000, so we're actually depleting our reserves, and it's not good. The theory behind setting this up many years ago was that we would get to a self-sustaining level, that we'd have these funds invested, which we currently do. We invested with Bartholomew investment firm, but you have a bad year, it exacerbates the problem, it makes it worse. So what I'm proposing here is we can't continuously be counting on making profits with investment when it's not always there. These costs have increased over the years, just like everything that we're talking about. What I'm suggesting is we minimally break even at what our premium costs are. We should be trying to continuously build these funds up, and in fact, what's happening is that it's getting depleted. It's, in my opinion, becoming dangerous. So I think we need to jump this to a new level. And topic 2, which we discussed today, I'll save that for the second.
Well, I think all of it should be, Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, I just talked to Zach, I really would like the general government subcommittee to look at this, because there are some other things that are gonna have to happen in order for this fund to remain viable. And it involves articles to be put on town meeting, as well as increases in the actual budget. So if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I would like to not accept this budget until we have time in the general government subcommittee to look at this, to due respect to those people, because I have been read in on this, but I would like the opinion of other people.
Will you have it done by the April meeting?
Yes.
No, it's not a good question.
Yep.
Then it makes sense to skip over it.
Question? On this school board line item on the second page, what does school board mean? School committee?
Yes.
The elected school committee? Okay.
Okay, so then we'll move on to 195, town report, flat at 4,500.
Motion.
Chris? Carly? Roll call, Vinnie? No Vinnie. Do we still have to have a roll call if we don't have anybody?
If Chuck's off, you can just go straight ahead.
Okay, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Unanimous, sold.
We don't have to have roll call?
Nope, because we have nobody.
Nobody there.
Okay, Carly, you want to talk to us about police? It's going from 7.3 million to 8.1, which is almost a 10% increase.
Yeah, I think it's the same themes that we've heard. By and large, it's the contracts, which Zach has talked about in terms of the retro situation in here, and then it's also cost of inflation. So vehicles, maintenance are all in here in terms of year over year. The cost of these things are just going up with cost of inflation. There are a couple extra things in here that are needed. We were renting the tower, I'm gonna get it correct.
The relay
The
tower?
relay tower, thank you, Vinnie. We were renting we're getting the relay tower for free, now we have to rent it, so we're splitting the cost, police and fire splitting it, it's $6,000 a year. The cost of the rave system has gone up, so that's the kind of reverse 911, that's probably not the right wording for it, but the cost of that has
That
gone
was
up.
also covered under a grant.
It was covered under a grant before. So by and large, it's those types of things. There's nothing that I would say is egregious, and the subcommittee is supportive.
Any questions? Motion.
I'll make a
Motion.
motion.
Carly, motion, Chris, second. Okay, roll call, back. Chucky?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Fire Department submitted, wow, 5.1 going to 5.3, a 3.7% increase. Hats off to Mark.
They are in active negotiation.
Oh, I was going to say.
That's the only one that isn't done, I think.
I was going to say,
That's off the mark.
Yeah, no.
hats off to Mark, but
The year before, it was only a $40,000 increase too. I remember they came in really low.
it's coming, okay.
Coming.
Carly, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I mean, they're just doing a great job. They're trying every way possible to kind of fit within their means, but it's, again, similar theme, inflation on the cost of what to maintain fire trucks, inflation on maintenance costs within the building. I think the fire alarm panel at the fire station is out of life, out of support. So that probably is not the best feature to let that continue. So it's costs like that are causing it to increase, as well as in salaries. There is four positions that they're looking to fill that's in the salary number. And we're mandated to put uniform cost in for those, so that's an increase. But duly noted, there is no contractual increase in that.
Any questions? And for those who are not familiar with our policies, we do not budget in contract negotiations. It's kind of hard to negotiate, saying, Zach, I got 4% to spend. How much do you want from me? So we budget it in flat and then refill the amount, and sometimes that's more than a year. So you can see a big jump for 1 year. Okay, motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Carly and Brant. Roll call, Vinnie. I'm sorry, Chucky.
Let's see.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yep.
Chris.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous. Sealer of weights and measures, going from 9,800 to 10,100, 2.8% increase.
Motion to accept.
Chris made a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Brant, second. Okay, hold on. Department 244. Okay, roll
Oh,
call.
that's right.
Chuck.
Yeah, I got you.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yep.
Yes.
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 Unanimous.
It's a good bye, totally.
Emergency management, flat at 3362, Department 291.
Motion.
Chris. Carly, second. Any discussion? Roll call. Chuck.
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous. Animal control went up 17.8% from 114 to 135. You want to enlighten us, Zach?
Sure. So you may recall at the last year, we asked for an assistant position in that salaries component. And like normal, we went at step one. It's been a little bit of a revolving door. So we finally got a proper candidate and we had to pay better than step one. Therefore, this is just what it would cost to maintain keeping this employee. That's a 19% increase, again, coupled with the actual animal control officer that's getting his step and his COLA, which as we've been seeing is like 6.5%. But again, it's really because we had to hire above where we budgeted last year. Now, we hired late in the year, giving us the ability to have those funds, but if we want to maintain this employee, which we clearly do, this is what it's going to cost. Now, on the general expense side, Tom, do you have that?
Yes, I do. It's mainly made up of electric fuel, vehicle expenses, gas, fuel, obviously, and then he did go down in animal disposal, another item too, but for the most part, it's all utilities.
So that's a 9% increase, but we're talking $1,400.
Well, see there again, $1,400 sends it up 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
Any questions?
Motion.
Chris?
Second.
Vinnie? Roll call. Chuck?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joycey?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
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 Okay, unanimous.
I've been waiting 5 years for this one.
Hydrant, 296. In '21, it was $951,000. This year was zero, and projected for next year, zero.
Zero. We own a water company now.
Do we even have to vote on a non,
No, I only display it because there's still expenditures in the other columns. Eventually, that'll just disappear, but I don't think you have to.
It made me smile, Zach, to see it, so.
Yeah.
well, just in
5 years
case.
for that nut.
Motion
On what?
Sure.
to accept zero. Brant and Carly. Roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
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 Unanimous. BVT. BVT is going from 1.5 million in '21 to 1.6 million, 1.624, and this proposal is 1.664, so 2.4% increase.
Yeah, they anticipate an assessment increase for Milford of $39,538, which is the 2.4% increase over last year. Separately, they are seeking a special warrant article in Milford, or they will be. They're asking for it for $50,000 for making repairs to their so-called 60-plus-year-old structure. I have a meeting scheduled with Dr. Fitzpatrick at his office next Wednesday morning.
Okay, so for tonight, do you have a
I
question, David?
recommend acceptance, is that the right word
Yeah.
for tonight? Acceptance of
It's only the budgets, not the warrant article.
2.4%.
David?
Can I ask a question on the warrant article then, or no?
That's, yeah, I just mentioned that in passing.
Yeah, that's coming.
I want to ask a question. on the warrant article.
That won't be discussed tonight.
Enrollment up or down? Do we have a number for the enrollment?
Michael, do we know if the enrollment went up or down? It couldn't have moved too much if it's only 40 grand change.
If the what?
The enrollment, the number of Milford kids.
I think it was 4.
Let me see if he mentioned that. No, he didn't mention numbers. I'm waiting for the assessment sheet by town to come out pretty shortly, and that will show information there. Maybe I can pick it up next Wednesday.
Okay. Motion?
Motion?
Mike. Second, Vinnie. Roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Okay, somebody, Zach, explain to me 411, how it went down.
We have a new
Ta-
town engineer.
Town engineer went from 108 to 120 to next year, 119.
Yep, so we have a new town engineer, started at a different step than Mr. Dean. This is Elizabeth Mainini, so this is reflective of her actual salary and when she will step. And there's a minor, very minor increase in general expenses. It was 5.6, it's $400, it's for plotter supplies.
Okay, motion.
I'll make a motion.
Mitch and Vinnie. Roll call, Chuck.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous. Street lighting. Street lighting went from, did I get this right? 313 and 21 to 306 and 22 to 306 and 23, flat.
Flat, yep, it's sufficient so far this year. Projections say will be good this year, and also projections say will be good next year, so no need to increase.
Any questions? Oh, Mike?
Is this strictly the electric bill for street lighting, or are there other expenses in this line item?
Strictly the electric bill, both supplier and provider.
So I'm not sure at what point in time the cost reductions from LED lighting kicked in, but I'm just seeing like a $6,000 reduction here. Citywide LED lighting, and hell, they're saving $8,000 a year just the library going to LED.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it dropped in earlier, but at least with these three numbers, I'm not seeing any reduction.
At the next meeting, I can show you the actual expenditures. So again, I represented that this budget will be sufficient. Not saying it's a break even, so it's, if memory serves me correct, I don't have it in front of me, it's looking more like 270-ish as we will end this year. I don't know what will happen with increased costs next year, that's why we're not reducing it. But I can bring those costs in.
Okay, Diana, make a note to invite Dr. Taylor to talk about street lighting at the next meeting. Okay,
Taylor?
Zach.
Zach.
Okay, motion. Carly, Chris. Roll call. Chucky.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yep. Yes.
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 Unanimous. We're skipping 431 waste collection. We jump to 440 sewer. 440 sewer, now remember, this is all paid for by the ratepayers, not out of our budget. But the budget they're proposing went from 3.3 million to 4 million in 2022 to 4.1 million, which is a 3% increase. Any comments or questions?
Great job by sewer. Motion.
As always, Chris, any second?
Second.
Andy? Roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
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 Okay, unanimous. We already went through 495, and we went through 510. Oh, we did,
522 and 524 also come under that.
yeah, but
They all level
No money
funded.
comes back.
when I look at 522, visiting nurses, flat. From 80,000, well, from 68,000, went up to 80,000 last year, and it's proposed at 80,000.
Motion.
Chris, second. Brant? Chuck? Roll call.
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
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 Okay, unanimous.
Motion on 524.
On what?
Dental clinic, 524, staying flat at $7,700.
Second.
Andy second. Brant made the motion. 524 dental, roll call. Chucky?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous. Veteran Services.
Motion on 543.
This is another one that, you know, for all of you who were around before John Pilla, this used to be the one where you held your breath for huge jumps and wild raises. And I don't remember, since it's been under Mr. Pillar, anything out of control. And here we go again, a 0.7% increase. More importantly, we get a good feeling that he's taking care of our veterans. Motion,
Motion.
Chris.
Second.
Vinnie, Chris and Vinnie. Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Mitch.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. This one, Zach, I don't understand. 549 disability, $1,100?
Commission on Disability, they have a very minor budget.
Commission on disability.
Yeah, it's level funded.
Motion on 549.
Second.
Chris and Vinnie. Chuck,
Yes.
Mitch, before you run out.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, it is unanimous. Library. Wow, 1.9%.
Hang tight. You want to give it up there, you want me to do it?
The 1.93% increase over last year was interesting because they met the municipal appropriation requirement by $2,100. So there's no fat in that. This number does not include labor negotiations, which are underway.
Okay, so that may have to be augmented.
Yeah, I would ask that we don't vote on this one tonight.
Okay.
A question, Mr. Chairman, if Mr. Nicholson can get, if there's a forecasted amount for the municipal minimum.
Well, we're going to have to vote on it in April, one way or another.
It should be ready one way
But
or the other.
if he can find out what the minimum is,
The minimum
minimum funding amount?
MAR, yes, that number is,
Oh, you know that for 2023?
For 24?
Excuse me?
yes, the
Just keep that in mind when you present that.
the MAR is
Make sure we meet.
$1,447,688, which is $2,100 less than what they're budgeting
Well, I thought it was $2,100 from last year. It's $2,100 next year.
next year.
Okay, I apologize. I
Okay,
misunderstood.
so we'll skip over library for April, and we'll go to 691 Historical Commission. Flat at 2411.
Motion.
Carly and Brandt. Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
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 You all in favor, one abstention, Mitch, who's not in the room. Okay, mature my debt, 710.
5.9% reduction. We're actually going to see a number of bonds fall off this year. If you look at the long term as well, it's a 10% reduction. So we took that amount of money that fell off and added it to our projected stabilization contribution, just to maintain that budgetary bonding capability, as they call it. So, good thing. That's
And-
the exact schedule.
Any questions? Motion,
What is the exact stabilization account amount? You know?
How much do we have in it right
Yeah.
now? Yeah, it's like 32, yeah, I think it's 3 different accounts. We have the long term, we have the short term, and we have the stable, and we have the sewer stabilization. Collectively, they're 40. Off the top of my head, I believe it's 35 between the two traditional.
the two that are ours.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Which if we build this school trust.
I was going to say, we're going to need that and a lot more when the high school hits. Okay, motion on 710. Carly, Vinnie. Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Long-term, I assume that's interest,
Yes.
going down 10%. I like these.
It will coincide with the amount of debt that falls off.
So debt falling off.
I heard that.
Any questions?
Motion.
Andy and Carly. Roll call, Chucky,
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joycey.
Yes.
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 Unanimous. Short term, going from 150 to 150, totally flat. Any questions? I have one. It went from 339 and 21 to 150.
Felt this is one of those just-in-case factors. The 339 was an actual expenditure. As you can see, we have not had to use it in recent years. We do a couple things with this. At the end of the year, we have to cover deficit accounts, like legal deficits. When we get whacked on free cash, so we take state notes. Or the second, more popular one that we can do is when we have large projects. For instance, the sewer department right now, we have authorization to bond. Until we actually finance it with pulling a bond, we do short-term notes and pay the short-term interest. So will we likely pay 150? No, probably not, but we should have it available just in case.
Okay, motion on 752, short term. Vinnie, Carly. Roll call. Okay, Chuck. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Unanimous. Retirement, 911, going from 6.3 million to 6.6 million, 3% increase.
Is that from the actuaries, Zach? or-
That's from the actuaries, yep, it's our annual required contribution, that's correct, yep. And then the rest is split up between sewer, water, housing, and a very small component to geriatric authority. This is purely the town side. Those other components are in the enterprise funds and geriatric and housing respectively.
Chris? Andy? Chucky, roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Chris?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous. Workers' comp, flat 400,000 for 3 years.
Yep.
Motion.
Second.
Chris and Carly. Do we actually spend 400,000?
If you look at 21, we spent 351. Right now, it was on that document I sent out to everyone. 380. We expect this year to actually be 400 right there.
Okay. Roll call, Chuck.
Yes.
Carly.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
David. Unanimous. 913, we're in the stretch. Unemployment comp, we went from 26,000 in 21 to 200,000 in 22 to expected 200,000 flat in 23.
Yep, both of those budget items, if you looked at the year before in 21, we actually spent $186,000, $188,000.
Wait a minute. The note I had 26,000.
That was for 22.
That was 22, so before that.
I'm just trying to demonstrate how versatile.
Okay, the last year, we spent how much?
In 22, we spent $26,000. I don't want the exact number.
No, close enough.
All right.
And 21?
21, we spent $188,000, obviously coming out of COVID.
Okay.
But this is one of those unpredictable accounts. Do I think we'll spend 200 this year? No, but we should have it available in case.
Enough to cover it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Now, unemployment comp, anybody who's in commercial business, you pay a percentage of your payroll. In municipal, my understanding is you pay nothing when somebody files a claim.
Yeah.
We get billed dollar for dollar.
There you go. Yeah.
So at the end of the quarter, if there was $100 worth of unemployment, we get a bill for $100.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Motion?
Motion.
Carly and Chris. Chucky, roll call.
Yes.
Carly,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Unanimous. Last one, 914, employee health insurance.
I'm going to talk quickly about it, but as we typically do, we'll save this for dead last. As we find out what happens with the schools and whatnot, there may be a need to adjust. I don't know.
But we're only predicting, we went from 13.6 to 15.7 to 15.8, so 0.5% increase.
Yeah, so the renewals came in really, really good. It's something like life and dental are gonna stay, I think dental's actually going down, life is gonna stay level funded. The big one, which is obviously health insurance, is like 1.9%, which is really good. However, last year, you may recall, we increased this budget on top of our normal premium expectations with an additional $600,000 based on the school's needs. We didn't realize at the time that they're funding those new hires to the ESSER grant, which picked up the benefits as well. So taking that into account here, because we know that this ESSER grant is continuing for one more year. So removing the $600K may be expected the following year. But that's the primary reason why it's a reduction, but I don't ask that we vote on it tonight, because there could be adjustments to this one.
And significant new hires from the school system. I think Mr. Nicholson knows that.
Okay, so we'll skip it, and that's it. There are like 17 line items left. Thank you for getting through the bulk of everything tonight.
Very good.
Look at the bottom of the sheet that was given to you, and if it comes under you, please nudge. No, we passed it over. Please nudge your department, like legal, personnel, IT. Building, insect, did we do 299? No, we didn't. Insect control, we did animal control. And then the 3 schools, the highway, snow and ice, on-street parking, transfer station, water company. So there's about 17 more that we should be in good shape to go over in April.
Absolutely.
But then we'll have the health department, so I would ask that you push your departments and see if we can get through these as quickly and efficiently as we did tonight, and then we'll have time to talk about totes.
In anticipation of the Education Subcommittee having a wrap-up meeting shortly before the April meeting, would you give any consideration to inviting the school representatives in at the April meeting?
Sure.
Because we should have our work done by then.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you.
You guys canceled last night, huh? You guys canceled last night.
Yeah.
I was here.
The good news is,
Ah, really?
it sounds like we can cover what their preliminary request was.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's a big difference when, you ask for, like last year when they came out first and said they wanted $6 million, my heart stopped, incremental, and then the state came back and said, we'll give you 7. It's like, okay. That
Well,
makes-
right now, they're looking at an FY budget of $69,300,028. That's a 12% increase over the FY '23 budget. But that's comprised of 8% increase in level service, plus 4% in new initiatives approved by the elected school committee.
And Michael, with all due respect, where's the P? This level services thing with no explanation?
We went through the,
I still-
we went through the 500-line spreadsheet on level service. We generated a series of 10 in-depth questions that we went back to them for reasons and explanations on. We've received the answers to those 10 detailed questions, and that's really what our...
Then I feel better, because in the past, we've been told this is level services and new initiatives. Well, don't initiatives ever become old and fall off?
That is one of our
And
very
Mike, you're
strong...
reminding them too, just like we don't always spend every cent we always make, that Chapter 70 is, these increases are not going to be like this every year.
Well,
So
Paul-
eventually, they're gonna fall off, and what
That's
fall
right.
off on Chapter 70 means, if you don't plan correctly,
Well, then it's
there's
gonna be-
significant
Pay the piper.
cuts.
Yeah, we've
So-
reminded them of that. They don't need to
If
be
you got an
reminded.
extra $8 million doesn't mean you spend $8 million.
Well, while it has no bearing on our budget review as far as looking at the school budget, state funding via Chapter 70, which you all were discussing earlier, the numbers I have for FY '24 is projected to total approximately $46.8 million, leaving Milford's contribution of approximately $22.5 million, which is really an increase in local impact over last year of about $215,000, which we've had years where it was negative and years where it was millions increase. So With Chapter 70 numbers projected, the local impact will be fairly mild this time.
No, I think it's great. I mean, the state keeps helping us, that really helps.
Yeah, but shoe's going to drop someday.
Well, that's, you look back 10, 12 years, 14 years, when the town contribution was growing much faster. And now, all of a sudden, thank God, the state contribution is growing tremendously faster compared to what our contribution is.
Well, we really need to remind ourselves that the school committee is the approving authority of the school budget, other than town meeting. Not this committee, not the select board, but the school committee and town meeting.
Yes,
They're the ones who approve and accept that budget.
but the town
And if the day
meeting,
comes when Chapter 70 drops off, there's going to have to be some responsible fiscal decision-making to address that without dumping it back on the town of Milford.
well, I think, Michael, when you look at it, over the past couple decades, at least that I can say I've been part of it, Milford has one of the most healthy relationships with the school committee. Yes, at the beginning of the year, we beat our chest and say we're destitute, we're broke, we have no money. And the school committee says they need $9 billion increase every year. And then we get down to reality. The day comes that we stop working together. You're right, the school committee could vote themselves a $20 million increase. And then town meeting would have to balance the budget. And when you start cutting budgets, police department's, 94% salary? So you take a little bit out of the police department, you're laying off police officers. Fire department's not too far behind that. So as long as we keep the relationship, yes, it'll be testy. It's their job to advocate everything they can for the kids. It's our job to look at a balance between what we want for the current residents, taking in mind that, as I've said before, there's people in Milford who built this town, who are living on $2,000 a year Social Security. So any increase, we got to be very careful. I mean, I joke and say, I like my coffee. I work hard, and if I want to spend $2 on my cup of coffee, my money. But before we spend $2 of somebody else's money, we got to be triple diligent. So yeah, I appreciate it, but I think the key is what you're doing, maintaining a relationship, and yes, we'll kid everybody, and we'll poke and prod, and they'll poke and prod, but at the end of the day, let's remember that 10, 12 years ago, when we had to cut budgets, the school committee union, which amazed me that the union would come in, and when towns around us were deferring their raises so that you'd pay twice as much at the end of the year, our school committee came to us, knowing that we have no real say, and said, if you'll give us your support at town meeting, we will forego a raise this year if you keep all that money in the school department. To me, you can't ask for better cooperation than that. But saying that, we'll still growl and snarl and play the game, you know.
Yeah, I have one other little housekeeping item on the school system regarding the Commonwealth's definition of high needs students. It appears the explanation I gave during the January meeting was dated, and I've been asked by a member of the school committee to share the current definition of high needs. I mention this because it's such a high percentage of the student population. So the current definition of high needs, a little bit different than what I'd mentioned in January. A student has high needs if he or she is designated as either low income prior to 2015 and from 2022 to present, economically disadvantaged from 2015 to 2021, EL, former EL, or a student with disabilities. A former EL student is a student not currently an EL, but had been at some point in the 4 previous academic years. Data as of October 1st, March 1st, and end of year. I just mentioned in passing that there are detailed definitions of these designations on the Mass DESE website, which is very detailed and very specific. But again, a very high percentage of population in the Milford school system student body, and it's worthy of noting what they mean by high needs. Pretty broad. Thank you.
What's the percentage?
70%.
70%?
70%.
So by the description that you just gave, that means there's a lot of illegal immigrants?
Economically disadvantaged.
Well, you call
No,
it what you will.
no, Vinnie, it's not illegal immigrants. There's a lot of people in Milford that their family is living on less than $34,000 a year, family of four.
Granted, I
They're legal,
understand that.
they qualify, but at the end of the day, if you think about it, we've never turned our back on any student.
All right.
I don't think we can by law, but I don't care, I shouldn't say I don't care about the law, but the law of Milford has always been that we take care of our own kids. It's just the state's made it a lot easier because they targeted extra funds for 3 specific areas. Towns with high special needs, high ELL, and low income. And we hit all 3 because we've gotten a lot of comments from towns around us that they got an extra $300,000 and Milford's getting an extra $7 million. But then again, for years, we've been paying up that money and we didn't have extra. Anything else?
Great job by Zach, Brownie, Mayetta, that entire department for putting all this together.
Thank you. Any other words? Motion? Carly, motion to adjourn. Andy, second. Motion to adjourn is not debatable. Roll call. Chuck?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
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 Unanimous. We are done till next month.